Faces lit, hands clapped, eyebrows lifted. For the English, Heck Andrews was everything a Southern residence was meant to be. Remote, anachronistic, both inviting and forbidding at the same time. It fulfilled their tritest expectations, though I received complaints that there was no Spanish moss. "That's in South Carolina," I'd explain. And then we would get on to why I didn't seem to have a Southern accent, and I'd be reassured that telltale traces had been eradicated. Even in the last light of the day, I could see the clapboard was flaking. So the failing Manila paint was now my problem. It was apparent from the pavement that the ceilings of the first 2 floors were vaulting, all very exhilarating, except they were murderously dear to heat, and the price of oil was now, I supposed, my problem as well. Yet paint and heat were only a third my responsibility, and this in itself would shortly become my biggest problem. It was the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, a holiday which I only ever remembered in Raleigh-Durham, where gift shops were flogging pop-up pilgrim books. Letting this exclusively American holiday nearly slip by unnoticed gave me a sense of accomplishment. I zipped up my jacket. No doubt the English didn't picture the South in winter, but North Carolina has one, albeit mild. In fact, I remembered dressing for school, huddled by the floor vent, stuffing my bunched knee-highs by its breadth to pre-warm my socks. My parents were McCreas, too, and their remedy to the heating problem was all too simple. I left the bags on the pavement and strode towards the broad, intricately ornamented front porch that skirted the mansion. This opulent, gregarious-looking expanse with a swing on one end was designed for mint juleps. But my parents had been teetotalers, and, rather than recall long, languid summer nights with fireflies and low laughter, I pictured squeaking morosely with Truman on the swing, frantic for my parents to go to bed. We hadn't been very nice to them. Ordinarily, on one of my visits home, as I approached this same front door, I'd be bracing myself for my mother's protracted, claim-laying embrace. When the more I stiffened, the harder she would squeeze. Once my father died, her hugs had become only longer and tighter, and were laced with hysteria. Now I was spared. A dubious reprieve. We rarely entered through the front door, more comfortable with the side entrance into the kitchen. Ringing the bell, I touched the cold, curly-cued polygonal panes in the door, one of which had been replaced with plain window glass. The asymmetry never failed to vex Truman. But because the original had been shattered when my older brother put his arm through it, my father had been chasing him through the house to force him to turn down the volume of Three Dog Night, I treasured the flaw. There weren't many signs of Mordecai left here. "Corlis!" In the open door, my brother hugged me. He knew how. His hands were firm on my back, and he waited a single beat, during which he was plausibly thinking about being glad to see me, and then he let go. I didn't take these capacities for granted. "You should have let us pick you up." "Not during rush hour." The consideration was unlike me. When I gestured to my luggage on the pavement, I thought I was doing Truman a favor by allowing him to heave it in. "What have you got in these things, a dead body?" "You might say that." "I thought you were only here for a few days," he muttered. "Girls," with a smile. I watched my little brother. He was broad, though to say stocky would suggest fat, which he was not. He liked carrying suitcases because he was a practical person and enjoyed putting his muscles to more beneficial use than for sandbagged press-ups. His face, too, was wide, though in my mind's eye it remained insufficient.